Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video today, and welcome to the first review of 2023. Today I'm going to be looking at a movie that came out a while ago, but I still wanted to give some quick thoughts on it, because I have some very quick thoughts. I don't want to give a full-on review, because I think everyone's seen reviews for this movie, everyone's seen the movie who they want to, but I wanted to give my quick thoughts on the movie, and that is Rian Johnson's Knives Out 2, or technically Glass Onion. This film stars Daniel Craig, Kate Hudson, Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Dave Bautista, and Catherine Hahn. Pretty stacked cast, if I do say so myself. And this is, of course, another murder mystery made by Rian Johnson. And once again, it stars Daniel Craig as Benedict Blanc. And he goes to Greece to investigate a strange instance where he's invited to this rich party with a bunch of childhood friends, and he uncovers a mystery that's going on within this group of friends. I want to say this first, I'm a really big fan of the first Knives Out movie. I really like what Rian Johnson did with that film. That was probably one of my favorite movies of the year, honestly. If I was to do YouTube back then, that was probably within my top 5. I freaking love the first Knives Out. I thought it was an excellent mystery. I thought Daniel Craig was amazing. I thought everyone did a fantastic job. So when I heard that he was making a whole bunch of sequels, from what I understand, I can't remember how many there's supposed to be, but they're all going to Netflix, I was disappointed because I wanted to see it in theaters. I understand it had a theatrical run, but I live in a lame town that doesn't get cool movies in the theaters, so I had to wait. But I watched this on Netflix the other week, and I kind of wanted to give myself some time to think about it, because I didn't know what to say about this movie at first, because let me say this right now, this movie's not a bad movie. I really enjoy this movie. But is this movie as good as the first Knives Out? No, not at all in my opinion. Granted, in this movie, I'd actually prefer the cast in this movie. I love the cast in this movie. Like, such a bunch of great actors, and they're all just put into this movie, and they just put on such a bang-up performance, and I enjoyed everyone's performance in this movie, especially Edward Norton as this really pretentious, rich douchebag. I loved his performance, because he was such a dumb guy, and you hated him, but you loved him at the same time, and I really enjoyed his performance. And I'll say this too, Daniel Craig is still excellent in this movie. I think he'll be the one thing that stays excellent, even if these movies go south somewhere down the line. He is the best part of this movie. I love his character of Blanc. He's just a great detective character, and he's so smart and arrogant, and he's so, like, I guess, he's just innocent, and he just likes doing mysteries, and I love it. I love his character, and I love his attitude. And in this movie, too, I really do like the mystery of it. It's a little bit different opposed to the first one, and that's not a bad thing. Like, first off, I'm going to be talking a lot about the mystery. I'm not going to spoil it, but there are specific things with the mystery that I will be talking about, and I just want to say this right now. I am completely okay with it being different opposed to the first film, but being different does not always mean a better movie or the same movie as in how good it is. So I just kind of wanted to get that out there. I still really do enjoy the movie and the mystery, but I still have some criticism with it. And the first thing I wanted to say, I feel like people have been kind of overlooking certain things about this movie. Like, there's certain things I could be wrong, I know. I'm just looking at all the scores that people are giving it, really good reviews, and, you know, it's justified, because on paper, this is a really well-made movie. Like, not even on paper, just on the screen. It's visually wonderful. All the performances are fantastic. The mystery, when the film gets going, is really good. It's really interesting, and it's kind of like one of those things where you sit back and you go, oh yeah, how the fuck did I not realize that? But it's like in the best way possible. It doesn't make you feel stupid. It just makes it feel like they got you, like they tricked you. And I like that element of the movie. What I don't like about the mystery of this movie, though, is that the plot feels very ham-fisted at the end. And what I mean by that is I feel like there's a lot of stuff at the end that's just thrown on you, and it just happens all at once. And that brings me to my first negative complaint, and I think this movie is a tad, like, weirdly paced. I think the beginning hour of this movie is actually pretty damn slow, and they do throw in a couple different, like, mysteries or elements to the mystery to get you thinking, but it's not a lot. They leave a lot of stuff till the last little bit, and I know that was probably a creative decision by Rian Johnson. I'm not saying it was a bad decision, but I would have rathered it been a little bit more spread out through the movie, little key details in the movie, because it very much feels like everything's thrown at you the last, like, hour, and I didn't really like that much. There are certain things, like certain twists in the movie, that do require it to be at the end. I'm not complaining about those parts, and I really wish I could go into spoilers, but I don't want to, because I want everyone to see this movie. But I think this movie was a little bit like all over the place in terms of pacing. I would have preferred little moments here and there, like throughout the beginning of the film, just explaining certain things or just having these little evidence moments where you kind of are sat there and you question, like, you know, who's behind this, like what's going on. Because the first hour, in my opinion, I was just lost. I didn't really know who is it gonna be, but that's like the thing, because I'm not saying that's a negative thing, because that's a mystery movie in general, but I would have liked a little bit more substance in that beginning half of the movie, besides like introducing us to these characters, which they do introduce us to the characters. That's fine. Like that's the best thing ever, because you get a little bit of time with each of them at the beginning, and that's a good thing. But maybe after that, I would have preferred them to show a little bit of like tidbits to certain things that would be happening in the movie, but just like kind of take them from later in the movie and put them closer to the beginning. And I also feel in this movie, Daniel Craig's character had a lot less to investigate in this movie. Like in the first film, you see how smart he is. You see him like breaking people down, figuring stuff out. Like you can just tell he's a smart guy. And in this movie, I'm not saying he's dumb. He is a really smart guy, but I didn't get that same mystery and that sort of unraveling of the puzzle as I did in the first movie. And that was honestly kind of a disappointment to me, because I would really like to see that a little bit more. And I just didn't get that in this movie, and that's just personal preference, but I don't know, I just didn't feel the same way about that sort of thing that I did in the first movie. And I also want to say something about the comedy in this movie. The comedy is questionable. I realized that the first Knives Out had comedic elements to it. It had a lot of really good jokes to it, but it felt very serious. And this movie, it goes for like a way lighter tone. And I'm not mad at it per se, but there are some points in the movie where it's very much trying to be a comedy, especially at the beginning, and I wasn't a fan of it. I honestly really wasn't a fan of the comedic moments that they were going for. It felt like a little bit too much, but I think the best part about that is it's ham-fisted at the beginning, and I don't like the beginning very much, but this film 110% gets better as the film goes on, because every single complaint I just said to you literally like surpasses halfway through like the second act. But that's also a big problem for me, because I don't like the first act, but the second and third act are wonderful and they're great. And that's why I actually don't think this movie is bad, because it's not bad. And even if that stuff wasn't well paced, I still wouldn't think it's awful, just because Rian Johnson's craft and the actors are all doing a fantastic job, and the mystery is actually interesting. So I actually enjoyed myself through that first act. They're just little nitpicks that I had. And like going back to the comedy, was it really necessary for us to watch Daniel Craig play Among Us on his computer for like 2 minutes straight?
Wait, hold on. What just happened?
Blanc, I saw you go in the engine room. You're the imposter.
Like, I don't know, it just, like, it's trying to be funny, but it seems like that sort of thing's just gonna be very outdated soon, because we've all seen the memes about that, so it feels like that little bit of comedy, that's just gonna be outdated, and I hate it kind of when they throw it in there. Like, granted, it's funny now, but at the same time, it felt very out of place for me. But all in all, that was just my quick thoughts on Knives Out 2. I still really like this movie. A lot of people really like this movie, and that's great, because Rian Johnson's a really good director, and I really like all the stuff he makes. And these Knives Out movies, I really want to just get better over time and bring us these great mysteries, and that's what the second one did. It had a little bit of a rocky start, but it still gave me a really good experience that I would love to watch again, and I want to watch again. And that's why I'm going to give Knives Out Glass Onion an 8 out of 10. It is a really good movie, and a perfectly fine time, and I really enjoyed myself watching it. But anyways, thank you for sitting down and watching this video. Thank you for listening to my reviews of a movie that came out 2 weeks ago, but I still wanted to talk about it because I love Rian Johnson. But if you like what you saw here, please like and subscribe down below for more content on the channel coming soon, and I'll see you all next time.